Alright, welcome back. Second Star right here, and I thought today's Raid Shadow Legends video would be on a topic near and dear to my heart. And that's the Magic Keep. And the reason the Magic Keep is near and dear to my heart is because I hate it. Sometimes, you hate the things you love. What can I tell you? I don't, though. I have like a genuine disaffection, at least. If not outright hatred, disaffection for this particular dungeon. And it's because I couldn't get past the shield for a really long time. The magic boss throws up this shield, and it's imposing. Alright, it's imposing, and I just did not have the roster to deal with it for a while. Now I do, so I'm going to throw in some options there, so if anyone else is struggling in a similar fashion that I was, perhaps together we can get through it. Alright, so setting the boss fight aside for a moment, I thought I'd take some time to address the champions that I've selected. I didn't really select them for team synergy, I just selected them for abilities they have that are good against just that boss, because my feelings for that boss run chilling and deep. So I wanted to just focus a little bit, anyway, on the champions that can be used specifically against her. So this is Mystic Hand. He's my boy. I took him to level 50 specifically for the Magic Keep. And he can be level 50 and run stage 15 without any issue, with just a little bit of sustain. And I realize that my gear isn't the best, but just having his accuracy up to 75 is fine. Although I do often run with Zardala as lead, who has an accuracy aura, so I might want to take that into account. But actually, I won't be running Zardala as lead in the fight that I'm going to show you now. I have a speed lead, just because, to be honest. Well, what makes Mystic Hand so indispensable against this boss are his A1 and his A2. We have Tainted Blade, which places a block buffs debuff, 30% chance for 2 turns. I did not have him booked yet, but he's a rare, so booking's not a big deal. Also, his A2, Turn the Tide, steals 2 random buffs from the target, so that big magic shield that she puts up can be his, and it's very satisfying. His A3 is a Soul Link, which is an equalization heal, and it works just dandy. Alright, and here we have Fenax. If you can get past his steely, glowering glare, we can look at his skills a little bit. Put down, not really what we're looking at right now. What we're really looking at is the Stern Partner. It's kind of designed to work in conjunction with Talia, but it's not necessary. What we're really looking for is his block buffs ability. It's just like what Mystic Hand has. He has on his A2. He can also put on a block cooldown skills, but I've never actually seen that work on the boss. I'm pretty sure the boss is immune, but it does work on the minions and any of the waves that come up. If you're having trouble with the waves, that works just fine. Like say the crossbowman that stuns you and stuff like that. You can shut down his cooldowns. So feebleness, a nice little debuff, and these work on the boss too. So, but really, what we're after is blocking her from putting up her block debuffs buff. You can block that, and we can block the shield, and that is super awesome. Alright, moving on. Alright, next up is Gloria, who I wish I used more. I don't know why I didn't look deeper into this champion, because she does so many cool things. Right, her A1 has a chance to do several different debuffs, either decreased defense, or a heal reduction, or a decreased speed buff. Or, when you ascend it, a 50% chance of placing 60%, the big version of decreased defense, or 100% heal reduction. It's pretty cool. That's a really fun A1, as long as you can embrace the chaos of it, which I think is kind of cool. Mark of Fear attacks all enemies and has a 50% chance of freezing them that you can book if you are so inclined. I rarely book my epics, and very Ebenezer with my epic tomes, but still, if you wanted to, you can up that chance from 50%. And as a bonus, the enemies that are killed with it can't be revived. But what we looking for in this fight is Hex. Attacks an enemy, removes all buffs, and has an 80% chance of blocking the debuffs, which is great. Which is great between her and Mystic Hand, and I'm going like super debuff and buff block heavy on the team, just as an illustration of the possibilities. I would recommend doing all this. Like when I did it, I had like a sustain, a DPS, and Mystic Hand, and that was like really all I needed. But you know, more the merrier, correct? All right, next up, I think we have one more. And hey, look, it's Conqueror. Remember this guy? Look at this little guy. You probably got him as a drop, like one of the early times you're running through Carrot Castle when you're first starting the game. Well, surprised he has additional utility other than, fusion food. All right, let's see here. Where is my screen? Okay, so rather than trying to figure out how we can purge an Ice Golem minion, which is, I think, what a lot of people use him for initially, look at Cut Down to Size. Removes 2 random buffs from the target. So this boss is super buff heavy, and this will take 2 of the buffs off, and that's always a plus, right? Okay, so we're gonna run with this crew on a lower difficulty because I have a lot of 40s in here, and they just would be annihilated on stage 15. But we'll just dial it down a couple notches, and we'll see what happens. All right, so here we are at the boss. The minion on the left does AoE defense down. The minion on the right puts up a block debuffs buff on the boss, which is weird because she does it herself too, which I find odd. Her passive skill is her shield, of course, which is so... we have another passive, which is Line, which is her AoE attack. Magic shield, look at that. I don't even... Places a shield buff the champion for 3 turns. Places a 50% increased attack debuff, 30% increased speed buff, and a 60% increased defense buff. And then finally, an AoE that can decrease your turn meter by 50%. Okay, I cannot stand this boss, but let's continue, shall we? All right, and I think I'll just do like a round manually, and then switch to auto because who has patience for that? Alright, so is it a good time to use Hex? Remove all buffs? No, it's only got 1 buff. I'm just going to keep that for now. Alright, let's focus on the minions first. Yep, do your thing, Nizana. And, oh, I should have sped up. Oh, well, that's okay. Alright, let's try to steal some stuff, huh? Do your thing, Mr. Can, let's do it. Oh, yeah, look at that. He stole her, where's the info button? Oh, whoops. Sorry, buddy. Alright, so he's got the magic shield, the other shield. Oh, that's awesome. Alright, uh-oh. Alright, so where are we? Is it a good time to Hex? Yes, it is. She's got all of her buffs up and a shield again. Let's see if we can get it off. And we do, and we blocked with additional buffs. Oh, this is a beautiful thing. Alright, I'm just going to auto from here. I think you can see what's happening. Oh, look, I left Conqueror out of the lineup, too. Oh, that's okay. All right, let's go. Yep. Oh, darn it. She was able to put her block buffs back up. That's okay, it's gone again. All right, let's see if we can get her down before she rebuffs. Alright, good Soul Link, thank you. He's on, do your thing. Phoenix, alright. Apothecary, you too. Yeah, okay. Alright, she's Magic Shield. Let's see what we can do about it. Alright, there we got the Hex. Removed all the buffs. That's awesome. Gloria. Alright, so again, this was a lower level stage, just stage 9, because I had some 40s in here. But it was just an example of heroes that you can find at your disposal to deal with this. You might not be having trouble with it. I certainly was. If you are having trouble with it, I hope this helped. There are a slew of other champions out there too. Let's see when we get to the index real quick. And see if we can just go over just a couple of them. Alright, I'll start by pointing out Sakara, mainly because she's a fusion, And despite her admittedly impressive character design, the intricacy is super impressive. This is a really good one. I still wouldn't recommend you fusing for this one. If you happen to get her in a shard, that's fantastic. If you don't have any other options, her A2, where is it? Her A2, it hits 3 times, all enemies 3 times, and each hit has a 40% chance of removing a random buff from the target. So that will work on the boss, and you have the good thing is because you're targeting just the boss, you can get several opportunities to remove the buffs. So that's a good thing. Now there is a another option within this faction, and that is Void. So even though she's a rare, she's a Void rare, so again a rare of the rares. Skirmisher, her A3 also removes a random buff from each enemy. It's an AoE. So if you don't have anything better, give it a shot. Now, if we can move on to a champion that I wish I had, but do not yet, cross my fingers, is the Ogryn Jailer. An A1, 40% chance to remove a random buff. That can be increased to 60%. 40% chance of stealing 2 random buffs. That can be increased to, 75% on the A2. And then whenever they don't have any active buffs, because you've stolen them all, damage increases by 20% on the A3. This was another one. I love it when they kind of like design a champion to work in a certain dungeon, just like they did with Crimson Slayer and Fire Knight. Crimson Slayer is ideal for Fire Knight, and it looks like Ogryn Jail is ideal for the Magic Keep. And also a rare, so easy to book, which is awesome. I love that. And also, I don't mean to imply that I'm going to go through every single champion that has either a buff steal, a buff removal, or a block buff, but I just thought I'd point out some that you might have had kicking around and didn't think to use here, or just are easy to obtain. For instance, this next one, I always got a million celeb roots. I don't know why, but maybe you find yourself in the same predicament. And he has an interesting setup here between his A2 and his A3. He can steal a random buff on his A2, and his A3 decreases the target's turn meter for every active buff they have on. And of course, we see that the Magic Keep boss, I wonder if she has a name. I don't even know. She will do one of her abilities puts up like 4 or 5 buffs. So that's one way to cheaply decrease her turn meter so that you can do more things. This is a point of interest. Now, if you want to go in the Wayback Machine a little bit, remember Shaman, our 7-day free epic. Her A1 has a 25% chance to remove random buff that if you booked her, you now have a 35% chance. So something to consider if you have no one else. And I would feel slightly remiss in my duties if I didn't mention the Dwarf Honor Guard. Dwarven? Dwarf? Anyway, he's very similar to Mystic Hand. He has a block buffs and he has a steal buffs, but they're in different places. So his A2 is similar, not exactly the same, but he steals 2 random buffs from the target on a 50% chance, and you can get the cooldown down to 3 turns. And his A3, though, is where the block buffs is. This is good and bad. I liked it on the Mystic Hand where every time he hits, he had a chance. This is a more certain chance. This is 75% to block buffs for 2 turns, and you can actually get it down to 100%, and get it up to 100% if you book it. But it takes 8 books. And the other one, the A2, takes 7 books. And the A1 takes 5 books. So you're looking at 20 books. Now, I know that I will wax lyrical about the benefits of rares over epics because it's easier to get tomes for rares. But this is egregious. 20 books. Come on now. For a champion that kind of only serves one purpose, I just don't think that there's enough utility in this guy to put in 20 books. Now, maybe if there's a change in resource management, like maybe we get a daily login where we get tomes, or maybe they're more prevalent in rewards, there might be some things that change in the future where it might be worth these 20 book heroes that we've been seeing lately. So one can only hope that there will be a change and not just relying us to spend money on tome packs. All right, I just wanted to throw in one more. I apologize for making this run a bit long, but thanks for bearing with me if you are still here. In the Demon Spawn faction, Arrhenius, who most people just use for Rosin Scarhide food, or perhaps in Clan Boss, where she does have some utility. She has her A3 that blocks buffs and an A2 that increases the duration of all the buffs on the target. So once you have the block buffs there, you can extend it. So if you have Aaron laying around, you're not ready to fuse Rosin yet, and you're having trouble with the Magic Keep, I don't know when those things would align, but just in case, it's a big world out there. You never know. All right. Thank you very much for taking this in. The Magic Keep is something that I take pleasure in annihilating, and I hope that some information that I laid down here makes it easier for you too. All right, thank you, and I will see you in the next video, whenever that may be. Thank you. Take care.